the hell I am, I'm at the Yangtze. But that's probably not why you've clicked on this video. So, I watched the first 5 episodes of the new Fallout show. If you hear anybody in the background, that would be Alana or my dog.
Hello, how are y'all?
But, anyway. This is a great fucking starting point. We'll keep it right here for a second. So, I watched the new Fallout show, the first 5 episodes at least. And, it was not what I was expecting, which is both good and bad. So, starting point number 1, the Volt portion of the show is actually really good. I will say, having new Volts being added in and seeing a new experiment that Vault-Tec is obviously doing to these people has been interesting to watch so far. And again, I already said this, spoiler warnings ahead. So if you watch past this point and I see somebody comment some bullshit like, how could you have spoiled it for me, I'm just going to delete the comment. But in any case, if you don't know already, Lucy, kind of the main protagonist of the show, or at least the Volt protagonist of the show, is from Volt 33. And in Volt 33, they are getting ready to prepare her for a weird trading wedding festival. There's a weird Alabama section where she has to tell a guy to open the gate because they're cousins and they can't fuck because that'd be weird. Get to that section, it opens up to Volt 32. The Volt dwellers, quote unquote, step out and, you know, they do their thing. They talk, they meet and greet. They're like, oh wow, it sucks that that overseer died over there. That's crazy. But here's the thing. Anybody who's actually played the Fallout series basically knows if you're a regular person, you more than likely don't have tattoos. First thing I noticed was, and I may be able to edit this better later, so maybe there will be a fucking picture on screen of what I'm talking about. There's a guy with either a funny haircut or I swear to God it was a tattoo. And I saw it and immediately clicked, oh shit, these guys are raiders. And that becomes more and more apparent as you see how they interact with the Volt dwellers. And I believe the first thing that kind of catches me off guard was Lucy asking for her husband's sperm count. It was kind of weird, but it made sense from a Volt perspective. But he was more, it looked like he was more so confused about what sperm was. But beyond that, he also ate like he had not eaten in weeks. And on top of that, you see that everybody from Volt 32's hair was super mangy. Like it hadn't been combed or well kempt or anything like that. And as far as these Volt dwellers know, Volt 31, 32, and 33 are reclamation Volts. To where they planned on bringing back American society. And I know I'm kind of moving around as I keep talking, but I will get to why I wanted to look at the Pridwen. But obviously, it comes out eventually for anybody who doesn't really, or rather, who isn't familiar with the the Fallout series. Lucy's little brother goes into Volt 31 and or 32 and finds that it has been completely fucked. And it looks like it's been fucked for a while. But he sees the dead overseer and immediately runs back. And after a very spicy cutscene between Lucy and one of the raiders, who she thinks is going to be her husband, you hear gunshots, and Lucy gets up, grabs her Pip-Boy, and turns on the radiation detector, which she turns it to her would-be husband and sees that, oh shit, he's a raider. They do that. Fucking hell. The fucking Yonxie scared me a little bit. They do that. They they fight each other. He stabs her in her hip. Not her hip. Fucking she gets stabbed. And then she breaks a glass pitcher across his face and slashes his face open. And everything delves into chaos. A bunch of people die. She grabs a dart gun and just knocks everybody out who's a raider, because I don't know. They just took all the guns, and the people who took the guns were not very effective with them. She finds her brother. He hides in a little food cellar for a second, and then her father gets kidnapped, and they blow up the door to Vault 32, which is weird, because from what I can tell in the show, they have one long hallway at the end of like a cornfield that leads to Vault 32 and 31, and then they commune in that hallway sort of section. These are not the doors to the exterior, like to the wasteland. It is just doors that connect each other within the vaults. But they blow it up, which I thought was weird. And then it cuts to our second guy, Maximus, I believe is his name. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It cuts to him getting beat the shit out of because he's an aspirant, and the aspirants just beat the shit out of each other for some reason. Which, if you know anything about the Brotherhood, they like each other, but they don't like anybody else. So it's weird that they kind of just let it happen. And we see that he gets beat the fuck out of pretty regularly. But he has his friend, I believe their name is... I actually can't remember their name. They're not on screen nearly long enough. Their friend shows up, stops him from getting beat the shit out of. Then something funny happens. Something that confuses a lot of Fallout fans, I think. The Pridwen shows up. Yeah, I believe it's called something else in the show. It's gotten discussed already, but it is literally the Pridwen. Like, tit for tat. It's got a different name, but the name actually just means the same thing that Pridwen does. So, it's just a whole mess as far as that's concerned. But you see the knights come down in their vertibirds, and it's a cool scene. Jesus Christ. Their armor looks so good. Even Alana wanted to look at their armor and have some. She's shaking her head right now. And,
I'm texting my mom, so that's why I was shaking my head.
You're fine, baby. But anybody who's new to the channel, Alana does not know video games, so.
I play more like the granny games, if you want to call it that way. I don't play all these
Candy Crush
Fallout.
type games.
I don't play all these Fallout video action.
But they land. Maximus's friend gets promoted from aspirant to squire. Now, ladies and gents, I'm gonna go show you a squire real quick. These guys are adults in the show. I just want to point that out. I should just be able to go down to the lower deck and find them. But, what they should have been ranked up to was an initiate, because they get taken under the wing of a knight. is what happens. Knight Titus gets gets Maximus's friend as an aspirant to and they become a squire for some reason. When they should have become an initiate, like you do in any of the other Brotherhood games. Or not Brotherhood games, Fallout games. Especially in Fallout 4, when Paladin Danse finds you, you get taken on as an initiate immediately because he needed you immediately right there. But usually you would be an aspirant because they've just taken you off the street. And they train you up a little bit, and then you get taken under the wing of usually a knight. Well, let's go down here and find the squires.
I'm disappointed I need to address this, but unsanctioned social contact with Commonwealth natives is strictly
There we go.
prohibited.
This is a squire.
Anyone who is engaged in such fraternization should report to Knight Captain Cade for immediate decontamination.
As you can tell, this is a fucking
That is all.
child. Now let me show you an initiate.
Goodwin is a magnificent
This is an
ship,
initiate.
and we're lucky
It's
to
an
have her
adult.
in our arsenal.
It goes aspirant, initiate, then you get into the knight and paladin ranks. Or, if they were basically born and taken under, they immediately are squires.
You know those synths with the plastic faces?
Maximus was adopted by the Brotherhood, so he should have immediately been a squire instead of an aspirant. I don't know why they did that, but it peeved me for a little bit. But eventually, Maximus's friend is kind of just putting on their boots, getting ready to, you know, have their squire initiate. I'm just gonna fucking call it what it is. They're becoming an initiate, so they start doing stuff,
There.
and they start putting on their
Thank you,
boots.
sister.
You know, we wouldn't have to worry about
And,
if they weren't on the ship.
Your concerns are noted.
Somebody put razors in their boots,
My thanks for letting me borrow.
so it just destroys their foot entirely because they didn't look in the boot at all, and I guess they didn't stop before it reached their ankle. But their like entire foot is destroyed. Like halfway up to their knee is just blood and gore and mingled flesh. And I think it only shows one razor in the boot. But that happens, and they immediately blame the best friend, Maximus. They put a hood over his head, they take him into a little weird cargo plane, and they question him, because they think it's him. And for some reason, it is at this point that they care that somebody is beating up on an initiate. But they don't actually have any proof. They're just going off of the word of everybody else who's been beating the fuck out of Maximus for like the past 15 minutes. I believe it does cut to a ghoul between this section. It's not really plot. His storyline's cool too. You see him earlier on, like he starts out the show, and he's in the area that gets nuked. He's with his daughter, and they ride away on a horse as shit just blows up, which is a fucking fantastic plan, I'm sure. But then he gets literally dug up out of a grave and kind of released onto the wasteland. But anyway, it cuts back to Maximus. And they question him, and then he becomes the new initiate. Because he swears fealty to the Brotherhood. You know, the normal thing you say as a Brotherhood initiate, which is just, I will give my life to the Brotherhood, no matter what. Makes sense, right? But he becomes an initiate, and I believe the episode ends there. I can't remember. I'm a little fuzzy when episodes ends. But I'm going to continue following Maximus's plotline, because Lucy gets let out of the vault, and then she wanders around for a little bit. It also introduces a doctor at the start of episode 2. I know that much because the Enclave's back. You know that faction we've spent like 4 whole games trying to get rid of? Yeah, they're back again in like full force. Like they're fully militarized again, and they have a compound. And the Brotherhood is worried about them, and you're gonna find out why I think that's just so stupid in a little bit. But following Maximus's plot line, he's with Knight Titus, or Titan. Pretty sure it's Titus.
I don't know about Sprite.
He's carrying around this giant rucksack that's got all of Knight Titus's shit in it, and there's a scene where Knight Titus takes off the armor on his power armor and just tosses it over to Maximus to clean. It's his crotch armor. Just wanted to point that out. It wasn't dirty or anything, he just wanted him to polish his crotch armor because it fucking made his dick bigger, I guess. I don't fucking know. And then they get dropped off into the middle of the woods, and they start tracking the doctor, who has the dog in the Fallout show. Because, you know, it wouldn't be Fallout without a random without a random dog that looks exactly like dog meat. And they've got it's like letters and numbers put together. Like, it's not an actual name, but I think it's like C or something is what they're nicknamed. Like, just the letter C. So that's probably meant to be like a dog meat sort of situation. Just realized that's a synth kind of just laid out on these tables. They start walking off into the woods. They find where the doctor had been sitting outside of a cave on top of an irradiated barrel. You know, because that's a great place to sit down. You know, those irradiated barrels in Fallout 4 that give you radiation constantly? Those. And there's a big cave. They hear a roar and they go away from there. So then Knight Titus and Maximus show up. For whatever reason, squires, quote-unquote, or initiates, are completely thrown under the bus here in this Brotherhood. So you know how with the squires, if you've ever done the Radiant Quest, you are meant to just show them how you kill people. Yeah, nah, this knight was like, hey, I don't like the way this looks. I want you to go into that cave. He's like, but sir, I don't have power armor. And he's like, well, get fucked. You earn the armor through acts of bravery. Just wanna shape this up. Knight Titus gets killed by a Yao Guai in like 3 hits while wearing T60 power armor. It's the dumbest shit to me. Because if you've ever played Fallout with power armor, you know for a fact a Yao Guai is not killing you in 3 hits. And he also has no stim packs just on him or anything. He tries to fist fight the bear because the bear bites the assault rifle he's wielding, and it just blows up in its face, and it just keeps fighting him. But eventually the bear wins because it hits him like 3 times. By the way, there's a whole like 30 seconds in the show where it's just the knight going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, and then runs away from the bear. Yeah. Which Maximus then comes out and saves him by shooting it twice in the head with a 10mm pistol. Why? But then Knight Titus, you know, starts talking shit while he's puking up blood, and he's like, they're gonna fucking kill you for this. They're gonna kill you for letting me die. Da 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 da. And you know, Maximus is like, you know what, fuck you. You don't need a stim pack anyway. You don't deserve that armor because you're a piece of shit, which he is. Like, even in this Brotherhood, in Fallout 4's Brotherhood, there is not a shot in hell Elder Maxon would let anybody like that be a knight. I mean, look how stoic that guy is. He's wielding a Gatling laser cannon, and he's just fucking... He's just got bravado on him. Look at him. Look how epic he is. And you know the funniest thing about Knight Titus? He had better armor. He had a fucking jetpack installed on it. He didn't actually have a jetpack. He just used the thrusters on his arms. But either way, he start talking the most mad amount of shit. Maximus lets him die. All the while, Lucy and the ghoul are making their way into a town called Finney, which a lot of people have commented is just a knockoff Megaton, which it quite honestly is. And then it cuts back to basically everybody fucking around, and then it has Maximus getting into his own power armor, or rather Titus's I don't know what to call him. Because he died, you know, obviously, he bled out. Because he's a bitch. And then it has Maximus running around in the power armor willy-nilly. Also, guess what? the power armor is a little more lore-friendly than it is in Fallout 4. Like, you know how you run around in power armor for about an hour, and then you need, like, 2 more fusion cores? Yeah, no, not in the Fallout show, which I did appreciate. It looks like they actually last 100 years like they're supposed to. Because he's flying around with the jetpack, he stops a guy who was beating the shit out of a guy who tried to fuck his... or not tried to. He did fuck his chickens.
This is to serve as a reminder. Scribe Naraya's mole
He didn't
rat
realize
subjects are
that
not
until
pets.
after he had
They are
saved him,
crucial
and he was kind
military
of just like,
resources.
well, shit.
As such, they are not to be fed by any personnel save Scribe Naraya and her team. Any violation of this policy will result in severe discipline.
That was random. But,
The human-looking scents are the worst. They hide in plain sight.
in any fucking case, sorry. Got a little distracted. You know, he does what any of us would do in power armor. He starts kicking rocks. He throws some shit like half a mile out. It's a pretty funny, cool scene. It's what we all did with our power armor in Fallout 4 originally, because it was badass looking, let's be real. Especially because we all went through the building where we find Preston Garvey, and then fought the Deathclaw. It was fucking cool as shit for us. And we were using, like, a shitty T-45. Imagine starting out with a fully optimized T-60 in Fallout 4 your first playthrough. It'd be awesome. But it cuts back to Lucy meeting the doctor again, because the doctor, like, creeps up on her while she has a campfire out in the middle of the night, and he tells her to go back to the vault because she's gonna fucking die, which at that point she would have. But they meet back up in town. He's like, so have you decided you're gonna go home yet? And she's like, no, because I'm a real one. But then the ghoul shows up. I hate calling him that, so I'm just gonna call him the bounty hunter, because I feel like that's more appropriate. The bounty hunter shows up. There's a big fight out. He gets shot a little bit, but because he's a fucking ancient ghoul, his healing is just fucking outmatched, and he just kills everybody instantly. And then it shows us the glory of power armor, to where even if you're a fucking noob, you don't need it. You don't need to be skillful to use power armor. You will outclass people who are very skillful, even if you have no fucking idea what you're doing, if you just wear some power armor. Which he does, because he flies on his jetpack, gets Lucy out of the line of fire, and the bounty hunter at this point is using a weird pistol shotgun explosive variant. It's a single shot shotgun explosive variant. It's like a weird lever action thing going on. But he does that, saves her, has a really Chad moment where he's like, I am Knight Titus, because he's having to be Knight Titus to maintain cover from the Brotherhood. And, yeah, just, good lord. He has this moment. He beats the fuck out of the bounty hunter. Then the bounty hunter realizes he's inexperienced, and he can use that to his advantage. Because the bounty hunter was a Marine before the bombs dropped originally 200 years prior. He cuts the hose on his power armor and cuts a couple other wires because he's stuck in the floor of the fake Megaton town somehow. You know, the power armor that can move through like a train with pretty much ease. It was kind of dumb, but it was the only way they were going to get out of the bounty hunter getting his ass whooped. But he cut some wires and he flies off while Lucy's sneaking out the back door with the doctor. Also, when we first see the doctor, he injects some shit into his neck. It's some sort of technology. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't gotten that far. But Lucy sneaks out the back. The dog meat ripoff gets stabbed. And then the bounty hunter revives Dogmeat, even though he's the one who stabbed him. And then they just chill out and look for the doctor together. Kind of weird, but whatever. Then Maximus starts getting his ass beat by a bunch of random motherfuckers. He gets completely knocked the fuck out. They don't know how to work the power armor, so they're just trying to fuck around with it. They finally get it to open up, and that's when Maximus wakes up. And he grabs a wrench and a piece of a toilet. Alana's watching TikToks. Instagram. So different. Anyway. He gets a toilet seat and a fucking, like a wrench of some kind and just beats the fuck out of all of them. And then he starts getting his ass beat again. But this time, he's close enough to the armor where he can stick his arm into the armor, turn the hand completely back around somehow, and then he crushes the guy's head in his hand. Which is a pretty fucking cool scene and goes to further show that power armor was meant to be badass. But he does that, and everybody else runs away. Then he gets contacted by Brotherhood Command. They're like, come in, Knight Titus, you didn't fucking do your check-in, what the fuck is going on? He then continues to pretend to be Knight Titus. They want to send him another squire, or initiate, which it's specifically the leader of the guys who used to beat the fuck out of Maximus, but you don't find that out until he gets there. And he breaks the communications thing, but they still show up anyway, because obviously they know where their power armor is. But you'll become more confused as that goes along. It cuts back to Lucy. She has to cut off the doctor's head, and episode 2 or 3 ends by that point. Whatever episode we're on. I believe it's episode 2. She cuts his head off. It cuts back to the bounty hunter, kind of wondering what the fuck happened to the doctor's head. And then he sees her foot track, her, holy god, I can't speak, her tracks, her footprints in the sand, and goes after her, because obviously. Then Maximus and his buddy, his initiate, catch up to them all the way up there. He's trying to hide the fact that he is Maximus. And they start tracking both the bounty hunter and Lucy down. Then Lucy loses the head to a gulper. Fuck, at that point, And then the bounty hunter catches up to her, tries to use her as bait to fish up the gulper, which kind of works for about 3 seconds until the bounty hunter's special vials get destroyed, which at this point you didn't really know what they did until the next scene, where he is dragging Lucy through the wasteland. They come across a ghoul who is turning, and he needs more vials. It turns out the vials keep ghouls from turning. Please take note, that doesn't exist in any of the games. If it does exist in one of the games, it is news to me. I have never heard or seen it. It was my knowledge that you just eventually turned. Because even with old Magic Boy and Nuka World, it's discussed there is no cure. But apparently this is a temporary setback, which could very easily be turned into a cure. But he goes to this ghoul, which he knew he'd be there, to try and get some vials from him. But it turns out that ghoul's turning anyway. They shoot him, and he makes Lucy cut off the fat on his ass so they can eat it. Yeah. Cut back to Maximus and whatever his fucking name is. Also, welcome to the viewer. You saw the title. Spoiler warnings. I am literally going through the first 5 episodes, so if you haven't seen Fallout Show and you plan to see it, do not stay and watch this.
What are you doing, Pookie?
Up, it's Eric, I imagine. Is that or Sushiro? Oh, it's Dark Soul. Don't call me Pookie, that's fucking weird. You're too young to call me Pookie. Fucking Alana looked at me as soon as I said that. But, in any case, it cuts back to Maximus and his initiate, or as the show likes to call it, Squire, which, oh, and I've completely fallen off the fucking map. 1 second. There we go.
Tell your girlfriend you're mine.
Absolutely not. He said to tell you that you're mine. That I am his. I was just like, nah, that's fucking stupid. Anyway, where's the Squire?
But I'm glad we're making a difference out of it.
Oh, are they just fucking gone now? That's awesome. Anyway, a Squire is a fucking child. Remember the Gestapo child who was following me? That's a Squire.
I am cooked, she gonna kill me.
I'm cooked, she's going to kill me. Probably. She might still kill you,
Do you know
Dark Soul.
I can guess.
Don't get smart. You want to see the Brotherhood's greatest warship brought down by...
But,
All right. Just don't tell Ingram, okay?
Fine. But there's a reason. Food's not
Dang.
allowed near the instrumentation.
also, scribes don't seem to be a thing in Fallout. Like, everybody just is expected to know how to do everything. So, in the show, there are no, like, specialized class of Brotherhood, which is weird. Wanted to point that out. But they show up at the weird lake area that the Gulper's at. And he runs out of ammo
But
on his
like
10mm
Maximus
pistol.
watches his knight die and kinda becomes big man.
Yep. Maximus and his little initiate
Feel free to have a look
show
at
up
the tape. You wanna hear about my
to
experiment?
to the Gulper area. They fight it because for whatever reason Maximus only has a 10mm pistol, and his initiate is the one who has the assault rifle. So he shoots it a bit. It almost kills him in like one
get
fell
hit.
swoop. Then the initiate almost gets eaten. Then just they fucking eviscerate the Gulper at the end of the fight. They find the head. They bond for a little bit, and shit happens. Then it cuts back to
They get
Lucy.
head.
She almost get her. You don't have to say, like, I'm explaining what's happening. You don't have to fucking explain over me. It cuts back to Lucy and them, and she almost gets her organs fucking taken from her, which is pretty Falloutsy. She gets sold. That's pretty accurate as far as that goes. She beats the fuck out of everybody. She realizes, ghouls are kind of fucked once they go feral, and she lets the bounty hunter live, which was kind of surprising. At some point, there is a flashback that it turns out the bounty hunter
Wait,
is
does the ghoul
Voltboy.
get the medicine or does he go feral? I forgot.
The bounty hunter does get the medicine, so he's spared. But as it turns out, he's the Volt Boy. You know, the blonde guy who's on all of the
Yee.
Vault-Tec shit. Yeah, he's him. So I was a little confused why he was known for a thumb thing at the beginning of it, but it turns out he is the Volt Boy, which is why he has such a huge disdain for Vault-Tec. Because in the
He
end,
is also
they
the cowboy.
definitely fucked him. Yeah, he's obviously. But anyway, cut back to Maximus. They're chilling out, they're partying because you know they have the head. Congrats to me, and you know that kind of shit. For whatever reason, still, the initiates are responsible for the knights who are meant to be training them, or rather, the squires are responsible for the knights. You know, that. I can't let that die. Bruh. Dumbest shit ever. So apparently they're gonna kill him if he goes back, and he reveals his identity to his initiate. For some reason, they have a branding thing in the Fallout show too. I thought that was weird. It's very cult-like instead of militarized, which is what, you know, this is. I mean, look how many motherfuckers with power armor are doing patrols here. Nobody's fucking around drinking.
He was a slave.
A slave? No.
Smile.
But, losing my train of thought. See, like, even if you come down here to, like, the commons area, nobody's fucking around. Like, they're chilling. And the most they do is stop and talk to each other every once in a while. There's some alcohol here, yeah. Truggy, fuck. I know. But they're not fucking doing dumb shit. But it's at this point, in his drunken stupor, Maximus is like, oh yeah, I should tell him I'm Maximus. After branding him. just, Christ, why?
A man gotta have some alcohol in the wasteland.
Feral, Muty, and Sin, shoot 'em into space.
He tells him that, and for whatever reason, he is just able to yoink. I mean, in lore, yes, that's something you can do. Oh, there's the squire I was fucking looking for. In lore, it does make sense, but it is weird that he was able to do it as easily as he did. He shows up. He basically pulls his fusion core right out of his armor, and it armor locks on him, leaving him encased in just power armor where he slowly loses air to breathe. And then Lucy finally shows up, saves him, helps him out of the T-60 power armor, because for some reason in her vault they know how to operate power armor of like any variety. Like they just had manuals laying around, which is not normal. But they hang out for a little bit. Then you find out the biggest fucking disappointment in the entire fucking show, which if you've not played New Vegas, you have no idea why it's such a big disappointment. The NCR get totally fucking stomped in by the Brotherhood. It doesn't explicitly say it was the Brotherhood, but it was the Brotherhood. So that's why it's weird that,
He want to have a fun time with Lucy.
Nope, that's episode 6, probably, because I did not see that scene at all. But they arrive to a rather large crater, very reminiscent of the one I'm going to go to now.
Too much, I am sorry.
And he reveals that the NCR is no more. Which the entire plot line of New Vegas is, well, if you're being a good karma boy, helping out the NCR. Retake, you know, everything. Retake the dam, fight Mr. House, fight Caesar's Legion, stop shit from getting nuked. But apparently they nuked them, and yeah, just everybody gets right properly fucked, and the Brotherhood come out on top, which is why they are not hiding in their bunkers anymore and have taken residency on an airbase, which I thought was weird at first, but now it makes sense because they fought the NCR and won, leaving the entire wasteland without a government, once again, because Bethesda can't fucking help themselves but keep conflict in the US in Fallout ramped up, you know, because not anywhere else in the world got nuked besides the West and East Coast. Anyway, biggest letdown. The NCR completely and utterly fucked. Was very disappointed. Anyway, that was very reminiscent of this bullshit. Hello.
Wait, so like in the lore of the games, isn't the government still in bunkers? Like, could they come out whenever they wanted?
So, in Fallout, the Enclave is what's left of the government.
Get some, motherfucker!
They're the elite groups left of the government. The Brotherhood of Steel is a portion of the military that decided to fuck around and find out and start getting all of the nice fancy shit back into play for themselves. That was weird. But anyway, this Brotherhood of Steel that now seems to have complete and total superiority over California is, for whatever reason, still not attacking the Enclave, even though they have to be the weakest that they've ever been in any of the games, because a doctor and his dog could leave. The doctor is not skilled in any sort of combat prowess at all. So it's all a very weird situation going on. But they're not even concerned with the Enclave. And weirdly enough, whenever Old Boy takes his fusion core... Oh, there was a comment. Oh, it says ye. Whenever that initiate takes the fusion core out of his power armor, he isn't really concerned with the power armor, which, if you know anything about the proper Brotherhood, and especially the Brotherhood Outcast, which Fallout 4 Brotherhood are very reminiscent of, they hate anybody having shit. Like, if you walked up to the Outcast base with a las pistol, they would take it. And that's how the Californian Brotherhood of Steel were meant to be. That's how they were in every previous game as well. When you find their bunker in New Vegas, actually, they put a bomb collar around your neck and say, if you tell anybody shit, we're going to blow you up. And we will know.
Can't
You're
you
also going to go...
pickpocket power armor in the games?
Pickpocket... No. What? No.
Who's it? There you are, you little bastard.
If they're not using it, sure, but you can't take it off of their frame. The only way to get it off of their frame is if you kill them or you blow up their fusion core. I.e. removing it. Which is what that initiate did.
Covering fire!
But it's still weird that he just left him there. Even though he could have very easily opened up his faceplate, because the faceplates exist in the Fallout show. Which was kind of weird, but it was fair enough, honestly. It was pretty cool. It reminded me of Iron Man. Or are they not in here yet? No. This is wrong.
Think you
It's the
can
wrong
win
one.
this? Huh?
But he leaves the armor there. He could have opened up the faceplate, shot him, and taken the armor, which the Brotherhood would have... That's what they would have advised him to do, had it been more realistic and faithful to the original.
Hey, Iron Man learned from his mistakes and they didn't he?
Yeah.
Give up now? I'll make it quick.
But, yeah. That's kind of the full rundown. In the show, the last thing I remember seeing
Playing games with me, huh?
was Lucy and Maximus head into a hospital that is owned by Voltec, and then they get dropped down into a vault. Not sure what the plan is there,
Show
but
your face. Come on.
I guess I'll see
Dare
you
ya.
later.
Still kicking?
Anyway, I just wanted to talk about it before I watched the last 3 episodes. Kind of wanted to keep this stream sort of short.
Hey, I love you.
Oh, that's you. For fuck's sake, baby.
ERM.
Anyway, I love you too, Alana. Thought that was Dark Soul for a second. I was gonna have a fucking
No
stroke.
thanks.
He's talking like you said it to him or something. But anyway, I will probably watch the last 3 either in a little bit later on today or tomorrow, because I have tomorrow off, and it is then when I will make a full script. But anyway, that's it for the stream. Adios.